Hello and welcome to D&D with High School Students, Season 4. I am at the table with the Medusa mob, the clan, the Medusas. And we are here to show off some gifts. Show the gifts on the big wide shot, guys. Our faithful patron and great friend, TopoMusicale, sent some very nice dice trays because he felt like you guys should roll into something so that your dice don't, in fact, roll
natural
off.
20.
First roll, natural 20. You burned your karma already.
you.
Good job,
Nice.
Jennie. Also, just as an FYI, I got this. Yeah, that's right. Behold, the dad dice. Larger than life. Readable from more than 2 feet away. Perfect for people who need to get reading glasses and yet avoid getting reading glasses. Behold, the dad dice.
You'd kill somebody with those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Powerful and large, and best of all, I don't have to do this to look and see what they are. So without further ado, we recap. If you recall, you guys had entered the capital city of Poitex Shahar. You had made your way from the Westgate district through into the center of the city, past the Citadel, through the Temple District, where you saw some beautiful, amazing temples, libraries, shrines, reliquaries, and so forth, and into the eastern district of the city, which is the Old Quarter. Upon finding a suitable inn, you guys got your rooms, your horses were stabled, your stallion was stabled. You smuggled your demon friend into the room, and Jordan, I believe you ran out and bought like several gallons of oil, which were then fed to the demon, who then summarily was fatigued and flew up into the top bunk to go to sleep. But you feel now that you have some semblance of a relationship with this demon now, and perhaps as you cultivate that relationship, maybe more fruitful helpfulness can come. So without further ado, you find yourselves with time on your hands. What do you choose to do with your time? Let's go around the table, shall we? Jennie and Jordan.
Well,
5.
I have to accompany.
Time's up. Just kidding. Go ahead.
I was going to. I needed to buy some just basic supply like arrows and armor, and somebody needed to accompany them to the library.
Okay. So you there are plenty of shops in the Old Quarter for buying mundane goods, services, weapons, that sort of thing. So within minutes, you can find on any street a Bowyer and Fletcher who can easily replenish your arrows or refurbish your bow, give you a new bowstring, etc. There's also plenty of blacksmiths, weaponsmiths, armorers, craftsmen, and women of all kinds throughout the neighborhood. So begin your shopping spree.
Alright, so I do want to locate somebody. I am almost out of arrows, so I wanted to fill my quiver.
Okay, anybody else going shopping? We'll just get that out of the way.
Yes, I would like to get some arrows. Yes.
So, in the Book of Mundane Objects, also known as the Player's Handbook, we will find the equipment on page... There we go. When I see the weapons, that's when I know I'm in the right spot. Okay, anybody for armor? No? Yes?
I wanted to get chainmail.
Full chainmail is 75 gold. It gives you an armor class of 16. And you do not get to add a dex modifier to your AC. Did you know that? What's your dex?
My dex is +2, 14.
So with chainmail, you'd have a 16 AC, but you don't get to add.
I'm alright with that.
You're okay with that?
Yes.
What's your current armor?
My current is leather.
Okay, so do you have more than 75 gold?
Yes.
You could get half plate armor, which gives you a 15, and it allows you to use your +2 dex. Now, the only thing is it takes away from stealth. Do you have a lot of stealth?
No, I don't.
Okay, So if you wanted to get half plate for 750 gold, is that in your price range?
How much is a platinum?
10.
10. Platinum is 10, so that's...
So you have like 100.
No, I think I'm just going to do the chainmail.
Okay. All right. You are sized up for chainmail, and after about a half an hour, the adjustments are made to the chainmail so that it fits you, and you pay the armorer 75 gold, and he gladly thanks you for coming to his shop.
How'd you get so much gold? I don't get it.
We're very skilled.
And
Okay.
how much was the AC again?
That gives you an AC of
39.
15. Oh, sorry, 16.
Yeah, because mine's also 60.
Got one more.
Now, did you also say you needed arrows?
Yes.
You could buy 20 arrows for 1 gold. Or as many as you
Like-
want, but they're gold per 20.
All right. How much could fit in a quiver?
You could do 40. They'd be pretty tight, let's say, but
All right, I'll do 40 arrows.
okay, you do. Subtract your 2 gold.
Could I also do that?
You can.
Fancy, thank you.
Anyone else? Any other shopping this fine day? No? Okay, after completing some shopping, what do you choose to do?
I can just, because I think they needed to go to the library, but they need somebody with the scroll to accompany them. So
Yes. Okay.
that's-
Jordan, what are you doing during this time?
I was gonna go to the temple,
Okay.
and I was gonna find out if he was gonna go with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So we'll go to the temple.
And you guys are gonna go to the library, right?
Yeah.
With Capella?
Sure.
So your friend is just gonna stay in the room.
Someone could stay back and like watch him, but I feel like he'd stay. He's our buddy.
Well, there's about 1 million armed guards out on the street that if he even were to fly out of a window, they would instantly pelt him with arrows. So if he does have any semblance of intelligence, he would probably stay in the room.
So maybe you should just warn him that if he doesn't go anywhere, he'll stay alive, and that we can give him some more oil if he stays put until we come back.
Can I write like a note?
Can you read?
I mean,
You're
I don't
not
know
sure if
he's-
he reads.
Oh.
Probably
Just like
Yeah.
tell him.
Okay, so I tell him, hey, I'm leaving, but don't go anywhere because you might get killed. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Nice.
And then when we're leaving, I do want to make sure, like, I want to find the innkeeper woman.
Yeah.
And I would like to talk about what to tell her. I would request that we don't need any maid services or such during the day. We would like our room to not be touched.
I will make sure it's done. Not a problem.
All right. Set up.
Okay. So let's go with the people going to a library first.
Nice.
And then we'll circle back to the temple people. So you seek out a library. You know that there's a library that is open to you within the temple district. That is an exceptionally fine library. So you guys all kind of go together and cross through the gate from the old quarter into the temple district. You show your papers, they look them over, they look at you guys proceed, you're now in the temple district. The library is something that you could see. It's a massive building, beautiful architecture, a lot of columns, a lot of relief sculpture. And you see there's a great double door, a massive double door that is now open. And there are actually lanterns on posts that are flanking the door, and you guys can go in. As you enter this massive library, there's like a small desk with an older halfling female, and she like looks up at you, and she's on a stool that kind of boosts her up quite a bit. And you notice there's like a little step stair down from the stool so she can get up and down easier. And she looks at you and she's like, Hello, friends. Welcome to the library of Poitax Chahar. Please do know that there is no open flame allowed of any kind in the library. If you are in need of additional light, you may contact one of our proctors, who you will see wearing the orange robes. They may provide you with additional magical illumination that would not jeopardize any of our books or scrolls. If you are in need of any assistance in finding particular volumes, you may do so. Please also remember that no materials may leave the library.
Alright, so I don't know, there's a couple things I don't know a lot about these books, but I think there was a couple strange things going on that we needed to find a little more information about. So this is kind of on you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
It's an us thing, okay.
The number one, there was a couple, would be if you guys can find anything about the stone we had, it might relate to the gods, something. If you can find any more information about that, that'd probably help us on our journey.
I think I'll probably look for the stone, and Magnus here could look for the thing he saw in the sky.
Oh yeah, didn't the demon guy, he called it like a Siuvok, Siuvoy, I believe.
I think so. I have a bad memory. But I think it's that. So I can look into that. You can look in stone. Yeah? Yeah?
Sounds like a plan.
Teamwork.
All right.
Okay. So, describe what you're searching for and how you go about looking and researching for it.
So I want to look up. Let's go with
You're there too. You.
basic
I can
information
try.
about stones, like a list or history about them.
Okay, make an investigation roll. You begin researching basic geology.
18.
And you come across quite a few volumes. Basically, like, you have an encyclopedia set worth of information about all kinds of things related to geology. Different kinds of stones, how they're formed, even things like having to do with crystals, rock formations, stalactites, stalagmites, volcanic, igneous, sedimentary, just every kind of thing.
It's a lot.
I'm gonna.
Would you like to narrow your search query?
Yes.
Feel free.
Okay. So I want. Let's go with magic based stones.
Ah, magic-based stones. Okay, make another roll.
Okay.
Because
The
I
same
mean,
one.
what's the type?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10.
The old, just the old.
You, I'll tell you
I
what
don't
you
know what is that.
do. You process of elimination. You remove a lot of the books on
I'm
the
actually-
table that don't have anything to do with magical stones, and by the time you're done, you only have a couple books. And it doesn't seem very useful, at least to you. As you're like skimming through, you're like, oh, if I have to read all this, it's gonna take days, maybe even weeks. So you're just kind of like lost in a mess of a few books, but there's a lot of like minute details and like odd stories, and you're not really finding anything that jumps out at you. Meanwhile, what is Magnus doing?
So, I'm gonna butcher the name if I say it, but the flying creature. So, I would start by looking if I can find anything by the exact name. That'd be fantastic. But if
What's
I can't,
the exact name? I know what it is.
I don't. Because I'm dumb.
No, that's what the demon things were shouting. I did not get the actual name
You
of the
know
thing.
it.
Because I didn't think
I
it was
knew-
She
super-
just said it.
It was
I don't know it.
S. So-
I know it starts with an S. So I guess that's all I have to go on by now.
Siuve, something.
So you're gonna look up, basically starting with like flying creatures.
Yes,
Okay,
large
go ahead and
flying
make an-
creatures.
Yeah, make an investigation roll.
All right. That's 27.
Okay, very strong roll. Much like Amity, you gather just volumes of information about like everything that flies, from like dragons to like avian creatures to like flying squirrels. Just so you're like flying, and then you start narrowing it down, and you chip away and you kind of focus it on like large flying creatures that may or may not be magical, and you get it down to like a few volumes. And there's a lot of almost mythology. I wouldn't even say like exact science, but more like mythology related to like dragons, because it's not even based in history. Like there's no dates attached to these things. But after some extensive research, you concur that dragons are not seen in this area.
So it's not
Like there's no reports of dragons in Kabul Kailish.
okay.
You do find that there's like a variety of kind of mythological or arcana based stories about dragons, and that frequently they are based on the color of the dragon. The color of the dragon often determines its motivations or its intent, as well as its tendencies towards good or evil. So you kind of find a lot of information about that, but without necessarily knowing what you saw exactly. You're at a loss for finding anything that sounds like what you think it sounded like, because none of you remember what the demon said the name of that creature was.
I remember it starts with an S. Is there anything that starts with an S?
Yes, there's silver dragon. Silver.
Okie dokie. And I can't get it down any narrower than that.
Not really.
No. Okay. Well,
So while I'm here, I'm not really a book person, so I'm gonna try something very basic.
But like maps
Like,
like the main hero.
yeah, I was thinking trying to just look for like this basic like mouth of Deepa location.
Okay. Make an investigation roll.
Natural 20.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Hit this out.
Okay. So you're like, I just wonder. And you start with just Deepa. And there's volumes of books, just volumes of books about Deepa. But the cover of one of the books is illustrated. It's illuminated.
Pictures.
And it shows like basically this picture, this illustration of Deepa, and his mouth like is open and it looks like a volcano. And there's something about that picture that just resonates with you because you rolled a 20. So you like open up that book and you read, and you're skimming through and you find like a reference to the mouth of Deepa
It's pretty
being a volcano where ancient peoples once sacrificed living sacrifices to Deepa. And it's along the eastern coast of New Wolf-Omai.
That's pretty useful information.
Now, if you want, you can make a history check.
she's doing what I should have done.
No,
All right, I'll try a history check. You know, he needs these smart things, but 13.
It's funny because as you're like, and you like kind of look through some maps, there's no volcanoes anywhere on the island, let alone on the eastern coast of New Wolf-Omai. So there's that. All right, meanwhile, you of the temple people, you're walking down the street, there are temples everywhere. And by the way, if I didn't make it manifestly clear in your brief passing through of the temple district is immaculate. There are sanitation engineers walking along, picking up anything that even looks dirty. Not that anyone's littering, but like there are people with like brooms and little dustpans that like just walk by and like pick up like a leaf if it's on the street. Like the streets are immaculate. All the buildings, immaculate. Like there are people like washing the windows and like scrubbing the steps. There are like servants at each temple maintaining cleanliness. And you notice like there are plenty of people walking around the temple district, like people going in for prayers. You see people like pilgrims from other countries, all sorts of different races going in and out of temples. So what are you looking for?
Okay, so I was gonna go find the Temple of Deepa.
Okay, the Grand Temple of Deepa is the largest of the temples. There are 4 total temples to Deepa. The Grand Temple is the one that is both a temple and a monastery. There are monks who actively live there on the grounds. There's also the Old Temple of Deepa, which is an active temple for prayer and worship. Then there's the Shrine of Deepa, and that is basically like an outdoor worship area. Imagine like a park dedicated to a god. And then last but not least is the Reliquary of Deepa, which is where basically it has like a catacombs where like older clerics who were devotees of Deepa are entombed, and there's like relics of like ancient clerics whose, bones are like, that is the bone of Saint Crispin of, that kind of stuff. So there are a variety of Deepa-based things. Are you going to the Grand Temple?
Yes.
I'm just mindlessly following, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So-
let's do the biggest one.
You find the largest of the temples to Deepa,
Yes.
the Grand Temple.
Wow.
It is, first of all, a massive temple building surrounded by a 10-foot wall that's made of white marble. Inside, there are interior courtyards and gardens, as well as multiple other buildings, which are the living residences and like kind of activity quarters for the monks who live there. The main gate is flanked by 2 bowls, 2 braziers with burning oil. And you notice there are actually monks there who are like meditating next to the burning oil, and like occasionally they reach into a pouch and put like incense in there, and like the smoke rises. So there's this like fragrant, pleasant smell as you approach.
Okay.
There are not any guards. You notice that there are not guards, like the gates are just open.
So we're looking for any kind of information on Deepa, and maybe like the mouth.
Okay.
So maybe I can find some of the monks that are there.
Yeah, so you see monks walking to and fro. I mean, you also see like normal people, from like nobles who are perfectly dressed to like kind of poorer peasant folk. People are making like offerings. There are many candles, just like all over the place. People are like lighting candles and like setting them in these elaborate like sand gardens, like these Zen gardens that have been like combed to make different like kind of swirling fire shapes. And people they light a candle and they're like praying on their knees. And you notice other monks like kind of doing what the monks by the gates were doing, like refilling braziers with oil and like burning incense and stuff. So there are many monks and priests.
Okay. We're just
So I want to like bother one that doesn't look too busy.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to be like
Yeah,
actively doing
there's one
something.
like literally walking down a path, like he just came out of the main temple building, and he's like walking down the path, and he kind of makes eye contact with you.
Hey, where's the mouth of Deepa at?
So first of all, he looks at you. He's like, greetings, and he sees both of you, and he's like, welcome. He's like a man, like a human of average height. He's like 5'10". He's like looking up at both of you, and he's like, we do not receive the company of your kind very often here, but you are most welcome to come and give praise to Deepa. We welcome you. How can I be of assistance?
Well, I'm a cleric of Ayotte, and unfortunately I don't get around to the other gods quite as much as I would like to. So I've just come here while we're in the capital just to learn all I can about Deepa and...
Yes, yes. It is good that your people are truly devoted to Ayotte and his greatness. For Ayotte is the brother of Deepa. They share the burden of the earth, and it is for both of them that we must be grateful. For without the strong foundation of Ayotte, we would not have land to sit on, nor to till to create food. And without the warmth of Deepa, we would be cold and frigid, and this world would lie in a frozen waste. Yes, well, you are welcome to come into the temple if you would like. We have a quiet library that is open to all who wish to learn more of the wisdom and the blessings of Deepa.
Yes.
So he leads you up to the steps of the main building, and you can smell incense, like you're like, whew. And like you can actually feel the inside of this building is like stuffy. And when you go in, you see why. There are just rows of flaming braziers of oil and like candles everywhere. There's like flame everywhere. The entire building's made of marble, but like there are just flames like it's literally warm. You're like kind of like walking into a dry oven. The humidity's gone, by the way. The minute you walk into this building, it's just a dry heat. So you follow him, and you see many people in prayer. There's like several priests like leading a ceremony, and they're chanting, and people are like responding to the chants. And then he kind of leads you down a hallway and into this like other adjacent room, which is by itself very large. And you see floor to ceiling shelves full of books, scrolls, even like tablets, like on stone. And he's like, if I may be of further assistance, please feel free to ask. Any of us would be happy to assist you, but we only ask that you'll notice that in our library we do not have flames to Deepa for reasons that should be obvious. That is, we do not want to incinerate our library. He's looking directly at you. He's like, so most specifically, we ask that all of the materials stay in our library, and please do not use any flames. You'll see there's more than enough light from our beautiful window arrangements. You see like the windows on this side seem to perfectly catch the sunlight, and it's just a nice, soft light in the room. He bows and then he steps out. So what do you guys do?
He didn't really answer my question.
No, he didn't.
So
And I did hear your question. So did he. He just didn't answer it.
Nice.
can you read?
Yes, can you?
Sometimes.
Okay. I mean, books aren't my thing, but I have read many scrolls and other religious
I like
things.
scrolls too. They're short.
So, how would you like to begin your investigation?
Okay.
And is he assisting you? Or is he making his own rolls?
I'll hold on to her shoulder and help her pull out these books.
Okay. So I'm looking first for just general information on what people who worship Deepa believe in.
Okay. You can make an investigation roll or a religion roll. I'll let you roll either one. And if he's helping you, you could take that with advantage.
Okay, cool.
So basically, he's like your book jockey. And you kind of tell him like what to get,
You got that.
and
Yeah,
like
okay.
he's like bringing you books, and then you're like, look through that and look for this.
I'm
So
teaching him one word at a time and saying, look through every book for this one word.
yeah,
Okay.
so you can roll with advantage.
Well, that was a 1. Okay. 18.
Okay. So you gather quite a few volumes, much like your comrades, and you find that there's a whole litany of different explanations for the relationships between the gods. In some of the texts, they seem to indicate that Ayotte and Deepa are brothers, and that all of the gods are siblings, that Vem and Vusaik are their sisters. In some texts, you find that Deepa is the father and the son, and he shines down on all of New Wolfotmai, and that Ayotte is his child, and Vusaik and Vem are his children. And then in a few, you find out that the sky and the sun, Vem and Deepa, are husband and wife, and that Ayotte and Vusaik, the earth and the water, are also husband and wife. So you kind of find out that there's a variety of different interpretations. You also find the commonality or the common thread that the sun and the warmth of the sun is absolutely Deepa, but in some texts it's representative of his power, and in some other interpretations they believe that the sun is actually Deepa, and that the reason why you can't stare at the sun without going blind is because of Deepa's godlike power.
Okay.
You also find references to the discovery of fire being the gift to all races of Deepa, and that Deepa provided fire as a way of fighting the darkness of Taik. That Deepa is considered the light in the void, and Taik was the void.
Okay. And then in any of the books, do they talk about, like, it would appear from our kind of travels that a lot of more evil seeming creatures worship it or follow Deepa? Is there any reference to, like,
Make another roll.
with advantage? Are you still helping me? Okay. Natural 20.
Okay. So in your search,
Blessed.
yeah, Bullstrong actually finds a book, and he's like, the picture on this looks really good, and it's a picture of. Did I do that right?
That's
The picture on this looks really good, and he points to it.
Is it bad I thought of like looking at exclusively good pictured books?
That's basic. And you're like, oh yeah, it is. And then you look, you're like, wait a minute, this looks like really old, and it looks like it's in a different script slightly. So as you open it up, it's an illuminated manuscript that's very old, and some of the colors have faded. But the depiction of Deepa is a little bit different. It's more like a shorter human, like a dwarf, but without a beard, with no hair, no beard. And instead of being made of flames, he's wreathed in flames, almost like the spell Fairy Fire, as if it were fire. So it's like very clearly like a gray-skinned, small, dwarf-height humanoid creature with no hair, wreathed in flames. And the illuminations, this book's like the only one where the depiction of Deepa is like that, like where his body's not made of fire. And you notice the other quirky thing about this book is that the interpretation is that Deepa is actually not a god, that Deepa is just the element of fire, and that the element of fire bestowed itself to this figure depicted.
Okay. Okay, is that all that it mentions? Or does it talk about, like, the kind of creatures who worship him?
It doesn't talk about the creatures who worship Deepa, but it talks about the element of fire in this divine form as being purely chaotic, because that is the will of fire.
Okay.
The last thing that you get from this specific book is that a reference to each of the elemental gods, including Deepa, bestowing some of their power in physical form, which they refer to as elemental crystals.
Okay, does it talk about like if they're all different or if they're all like pretty much the same? Like each one is just a crystal that has been.
It doesn't describe specifically crystals,
Okay.
not in this volume at least.
Okay.
Meanwhile, some time has gone by. What are you guys researching? Or have you just given up? Do you go back and start drinking?
I'll continue. Even
Okay.
though it's like a hassle, I just try
We're
to
tough.
find something.
What are you looking for? Yeah, go ahead.
I also wanted to see if I just assist one of them if they're working. Whether you wanna
Okay, who are you going to assist?
well, how successful have you guys been?
Eh,
All right, I'll assist Magnus then.
heck yeah.
And I have another thing that I wanted to see if you guys could help me look for something. It was way back when traveling with Areia, we came across these strange scripts. We didn't really know what they were, but they were some kind of, I guess, old gods. And one of the only names we could come up was Shyest Jewel, with like a trident and Shyest Jewel. But we wanted Shyest Joel.
Okay.
But we wanted to try, if you guys can help me figure out something about these old gods. Or if they still thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah, we could look into that. Why not?
Okay. So you're going to assist Magnus. So you get to roll your investigation with advantage. Take the
Awesome.
higher of the two.
We'll use this one. I feel so fancy. That's a 19. That's
Or,
or a 4. I'm gonna go with the 19.
all right, so
but
total.
total, that's 28.
Good Lord. All right, so someone finally has the ability to research. You are in this library. You are searching for things about old gods. Here's what you find out. There are no old gods.
Wait.
There are 4 gods of the elements. Deepa, Vem, Vusek, and Ayotte. The fifth entity is a genderless entity named Taik. Taik is the entity of the void. You are certain that you have checked every reliable source in this library, which I'm going to point out is the Grand Library. All you find are 5 divinities. You even search for Shyest Joel. There's no reference to any Shyest Joel. There aren't even historical references to Shyest Joel, God, human, or otherwise. You cross-reference that with references to Shyest Joel and tridents. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
All right. So I found nothing about Shyest Joel at all, right? So I don't know anything about that. But 5. So I found something on 5 people. So Deepa, Vem. I'm gonna say these names wrong. I wrote them down the way they sounded.
Ayotte.
Ayotte and
Vusek.
Vusek. Okay, so Deepa, Vem, Vusek, Ayotte. And then Taik is this genderless
Entity of the void.
entity of the void. Yep. And so I did write it down this time, though, just very sloppily. So
Yeah.
that's just about all that I found.
I've heard a little bit about them. Not so much about the last entity thing. Nobody really.
But more importantly than what you found, you didn't find anything. And with the utmost certainty in yourself and your skills as a researcher, you are certain that there's no other existence of any other gods that you could possibly find out any information about in this library.
So just these 5 entities.
Strange.
That's all I found.
Oh,
So I don't know how much that helps, but
Okay. All right, and you, Amity, what are you researching by your lonesome, by yourself?
Okay, so I read all the books. So I want to. Wait, did I get anywhere in the books? Like, did I puzzle anything?
Prof, are you going to switch to the right camera? Okay. So, what now?
Did I like find anything based on what I read? Anywhere it can lead me to?
No.
Okay.
Primarily because you just don't have enough information.
Could I ask the like librarian to like
Mm-hmm.
for like scripts?
Yes.
Any
What
old
do you ask the
scripts?
librarian for?
Do you have any possibly old scripts about magic stones?
Perhaps. Let me look through here. He spends a half an hour looking through a bunch of older things, and he's like, I am sorry, I don't see a lot of information in these older tablets and scrolls.
Alright. Well, thank you.
He seems genuinely perplexed.
Thank you for trying at least, I guess. And then I go back to the group. Or I
Okay.
try to find them.
All right. Meanwhile, in the temple, Bullstrong and Areia, you have been thoroughly researching and grinding away in the temple. And occasionally, one of the monks will stop in and be like, "Is everything well? Do you need any assistance?"
I don't think so, unless there's
Nah.
anything that you wanted to.
Very well.
Okay.
He leaves. And then,
Okay. Is there anything that you wanted to look for at all? I don't know if you're religious.
No.
No? Okay. So we already found out about Depot. We found out a little bit about the stones. Do we think it's worth it to... I don't know. I might just make a check to see if there is any reference to any ancient gods while I'm at the temple,
okay.
but I don't know.
You notice there's another monk who comes in who like looks over and nods at you, and then he goes over to another section and he seems to be like looking through books. Do you want to make your roll with his assistance to do another
Are you
search?
still helping me, or are you just like
Yeah.
going off and doing
Okay.
your own thing? 19.
Okay. So, remind me again specifically what you're narrowing it down to.
Anything that references either ancient gods or like that kind of stuff.
So there seem to be no references to any other ancient gods other than the 5. You seem tapped out in this library regarding those kind of questions.
Okay.
The other monk finishes what he was reading. You notice he wrote some things down in a journal and then carefully put the books back and then bowed to the library to the shelf and then walked away. So many hours have passed and it is well into the afternoon. All of you kind of have a minor level of hunger that calls you to some kind of food. So being that you're only a few blocks apart, do you convene together or what's your plan?
I'd say so. I mean, we should share information,
Sure.
right? Yeah.
Get a drink.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you gather and discuss this in the temple district, or do you go back to the inn where you guys were staying in the old quarter, or do you go somewhere else in the city?
Let's go to a bar.
There are lots
Sure.
of those in every area except the Temple District.
Tavern talk.
Yeah,
So,
let's-
back to the old quarter where you guys are staying, or do you want to go to like the West Gate where it's a little more upper class, or the Palisades, which are the hood?
Let's go to Hood Bar.
All right.
I mean, the Palisades aren't really hood, but it's a little bit more dodgy.
Well, I mean, like,
Although the old quarter does have better entertainment. They're renowned for like they're like every place has like live music and like jugglers and performers, and some of them have like other competitions.
can we go there? That sounds cool.
Yes. Let's find
Okay.
the most interesting place and
Just want to
go.
make sure if any of us get a little out of hand, we don't wreck anything too expensive.
She says, staring directly at Bullstrong.
Okay.
Bullstrong seemed mentally fatigued by the amount of books that were in his vicinity today. Just being near that
I'm
many
just
books.
like,
Yeah.
all right.
So you guys proceed, you leave the Temple District, you go into the old quarter, you get all of the smells and sounds because it's like coming up on dinner time and people are like out in the streets and there's vendors and like food carts and things being grilled and music from different inns. Take your pick. So much going
It's
on.
up to you.
Oh, me?
You said you wanted to find good entertainment.
I don't know. What kind of entertainment do you guys like?
Let's just go to a nice tavern because we still have lots of things to discuss.
I like some dancing. Whoever's got dancing. I'm down.
Which
You actually,
taverns
as
are
you're
these people
thinking
getting
about
down?
dancing, you see an amazing inn that is, the entire first floor is open. There's like railings, but like there's no walls, so you could like see in. The place is packed. There's like a 5-piece group of musicians playing and singing. There's like drums and flutes and lutes and mandolins, and they're just jamming out, and there's people dancing around inside and drinking. There's a long bar where people are getting drinks. You see people seated at tables, and there's like a porch that wraps around this corner building. The second floor of this building is enclosed, but the first floor is like basically it's like an open walled thing. There's just like support beams, but it's like open. There's no windows. And it seems to be lively and fun.
I like it. Ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys go in, kind of push your way through. Actually, several people just get out of your way when they see Bullstrong. They like move. Do you guys want to go to the bar, or do you want to sit at a table?
Probably table, right? If we want to have a.
Do you see a table in the corner that like looks like it could fit the 5 of you? There's someone asleep on top of it. You're not sure if they're asleep, passed out, or dead, but
Oh no.
yeah, you just like move them and they like slump off and like crawl up against a wall and like they're still passed out. So you guys sit down and you're kind of sitting in this corner table, and a few moments later, a younger human gentleman runs over and he's like happy, but he's also sweating because he's working, and he's like, "I'll be right with you." And he runs back and he comes back again, and he's got like a cloth, and he like wipes off the table, and he's like, "Drinks first.
Sure.
Drinks.
Thank you.
Ale, mead, cider. Wine.
Mead.
Mead,
Ale.
Wine.
Me.
That was
What?
an option.
red or white."
Red.
Red.
Be right back. He comes back in a jiff with a bunch of mugs. He pours out drinks. Drink, 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 drink. He goes, "Food?"
Yeah.
please. Yeah.
We're gonna need a lot. We got a lot of.
Paupers or princes? Paupers or princes?
Pop.
You want yesterday food or today food?
Today.
I don't care.
Right, you've got coin, great. He comes back in like,
No.
he comes back in 15 minutes with 2 trays. One tray has just a selection of meat and like hot potatoes and carrots that have been cooked. And then the other is like cheeses and some fruits and like a loaf of bread that's been like cut up in a little cup of butter. And he's like, enjoy.
Thank you.
So you guys are pretty hungry. There's a lot of
Yes.
food. You guys go ahead and eat.
Yeah.
Get a good meal in. The sound of the lively music continues to play. People are cheering after they finish a song. And the singer's like, we're going to take a few moments. We'll be right back. Don't forget to tip your waiters. And then they get off the stage and people are still talking. It's kind of like there's enough like background noise to like cover if you guys wanted to have a conversation. And so carry on.
Is the guy against the wall okay?
Yeah, he crawls over the railing and like just flops out and rolls off. He's just drunk. And he like rolls off into the gutter and then like props himself up and like falls to sleep leaning up against a rail. It seems like something that might be common here.
Well,
Like
that-
nobody else seems to be worried about that.
Okay. So he's all good.
So
Okay.
carry on.
So what
So-
did you guys find in the library? Anything important about the place we're going, the journey ahead?
I saw a picture on a book, and it was pretty cool. It was Deepa again, but it was like,
Sure.
it was the whole mouth and a volcano and stuff. And from what I managed to gather, there is supposed to be some kind of like Deepa, they used to sacrifice people to them in some volcano over by the eastern coast of New Ulflapire. Yeah. But I don't really know where. I don't think there are volcanoes over there. So
Did there used to be volcanoes over there? Maybe they just went away.
You can make a history check.
Can we all make a history check?
If you would like, yes. As you're discussing this while you're eating,
18.
Can it be an investigation check?
if you're pulling out a book or going somewhere to investigate it, yes.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're recalling knowledge that you have.
All right. Oh, that's still not so bad. I got a 24.
Oh, well, anybody over a 20, yeah, you're like, I wouldn't say that I am a geologist by any means, but there's never been a volcano on this island. There are no volcanoes here. I'm not even sure. The closest thing would be like a geyser, maybe, that spews hot steam from the earth, but there's no volcanoes. There aren't even really big mountains on the eastern coast. It's kind of more like you describe it as like a very different kind of rock. It's not like volcanic rock. So you're like, yeah, I'm not really sure.
All right. No volcanoes.
I suppose
That's not a
we can
thing.
ask our friend about it, because I mean they seem to be adamant that it's a volcano or something like that.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Anything else that you found?
So I did a little bit of research. I tried to find the large flying thing. I didn't find a lot on it at all. I narrowed a few things down, and I ended up researching a lot of like myths and dragons and whatnot, but I really couldn't find like anything on it. It was pretty not helpful. And then I also did research on old gods. I only found 5: Deepa, Vem, Vusek, and Ayuk, and then the genderless entity of the void, Taik. And
Yeah.
so I found those 5, and then some pretty inconclusive stuff on the flying creature, but I tried.
You tried. I would imagine that you did. You're very smart.
Oh, thanks.
What about you? You're awfully quiet over there. What'd you find?
I'm fatigued from all that knowledge. There was nothing but rocks, that's all.
just rocks.
Just rocks. Nothing
Yeah.
special. I even asked the librarian. Nothing.
Well, hard day's work.
What about you?
It was just the map thing, and then I helped.
Do you have a map of the Mantirum? Did
Bullstrong, make a perception check.
That's gonna be 22.
Really? Okay.
That's pretty good.
You, as they're like talking, you guys are like eating, you have like bread and meat in your mouth and like you're about to reach for like some grapes and you notice like across the bar, you see that like that one monk from the temple who like came in to like do some research with his book. Like he's like at the bar, like having a drink.
Hey, it's that dude.
What dude? Oh, it's one of the monks from the. Do monks go to the bar?
You notice that like he's not wearing his like orange monk robe. Like he's just wearing like civilian clothes, like a white poofy, Ren Fair shirt and like some shorts, some pantaloons. Like he just looks like a civilian.
He's
But
wearing
you recognize him.
pantaloons. He's not a monk at all.
Do I know if monks like stay at the monastery? Like, would I know if they go out at all? Because I'm cleric.
Make a religion check.
Wow. No, that is a 8.
You were very much under the impression that there was a monastery and that's where they live. However, you are not sure if by their code, if they are allowed out or not.
Well, I don't know much about Deepa, but I don't think it's common practice for monks to be outside of a monastery.
Well, gee.
Especially not at the bar in common clothes.
Maybe we should talk to him.
I mean, I'm not trying to make a scene, but out of all the bars and taverns and wherever he could be, why, if you saw the same guy at the monastery, why would you choose here to come?
It's just
Maybe
a
he
bar.
I don't
He
know.
just came here.
Maybe he hasn't seen him yet.
Yeah, I don't know if he's seen us yet.
This maybe.
I mean, we could talk to him.
I think Capella's.
He was looking at something when we were there. He was looking through books and writing stuff down, so
Well,
I assumed he was just a monk writing stuff down.
can you tell us, because I don't know anything about him, like, well, he was helping you, right? So,
He wasn't one of the people helping us. He was just one of the monks in the monastery. And we were looking through the monastery library. And we just saw a couple of them just wandering around, but he was looking through books and writing stuff down, and then he just left.
we talking
But
like,
it didn't seem weird at the time. It was just a monk reading books in the monastery.
okay,
So
so
now
like,
he's out here in pants.
in pantaloons. So, not a shady guy? Or
Pantaloons.
like,
Monks are usually not supposed to leave monasteries, from what I know, from my religious experiences as a
So-
cleric. Monks usually stay in the monasteries, and that's where they live.
Well, does anybody feel like talking to him?
I mean, I would, but would it be a better idea for someone who it'd probably be a better idea for one of us three to talk to him, right?
Well,
If
if he
he's-
is a normal civilian, I don't know
Yeah.
if he wants someone large just placing their hand on his shoulder and being like, hey, they're certainly memorable.
But like, if he's not supposed to leave the monastery, then I think seeing you two would rattle him a little bit, right?
Both of you make perception checks.
I know she's over. 17.
17 as well.
Ooh.
So as Bullstrong pointed out, over their shoulder, like at the bar, was this guy. You guys are like talking about it. Over their shoulder, over the railing, on the porch, slumped up against the porch, that drunk guy. You notice that he's like, and he's just like mumbling to himself.
I think that guy that you pointed out might not be doing so hot now. He's talking to himself, and I can hear it all the way over here.
I'll go talk to drunk guy over there.
Okay.
You can't really hear
I don't
so
know.
much,
He's
but like
just-
you could see that he's like,
Yeah, he's just like kind of shaking and mumbling.
And he hiccups and stuff, and then he goes like this.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
You guys might
Whoa.
want to
You're-
move over.
Well, I mean, you're pretty charismatic. I think you could talk to
We're
the
gonna go-
monk guy. I can talk to drunk
You
guy.
and I will go ask him what he's doing at the bar, having a drink.
Should we invite him to the table as like?
Absolutely not.
And
We're gonna go talk to him.
as you
Get a
guys are
list of-
talking about this,
Ah.
you see the drunk guy go, help me.
No.
And he starts, he lays down and he's like, oh.
I run over there.
I immediately look at the guy at the bar, and I'm making my way over there quickly.
Okay, so here's what happens.
Okay.
You turn around, and before you even get up to make your way over there, the guy in the bar jumps up off the bar and does this. He runs over the crowd of people. Now he has to make some checks.
Okay. Oh Jesus! Wait.
Can somebody go to the
How
dude that's
quickly
gonna
does this
become
happen?
demons?
Is it like immediate?
With her.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
So-
Do I
running.
have
I'm
a
running
time to
there.
make any kind of reaction?
Yes. This is what's going to happen, and it'll make sense why in a minute.
Okay.
So you guys heard the guy behind you, like, oh, help me. You saw the guy behind, and he's like clutching at his chest and flopping around on the porch, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm gonna get up, and you turn around and you see the monk jump up and start running across like acrobatics, like jumping on people's shoulders to run over the crowd.
Okay.
He makes it to the door.
How far away is?
He's about 30 feet away from you. So he makes it to the door and he's about to get through.
I'm gonna.
Now you can go, and then we have initiative.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cast Hold Person on him
Hmm.
to try and stop him from leaving.
What does he have to resist with?
I have to check. I'm not.
Is it a checks?
It might be. I'm not quite sure.
You write this down,
Yes.
because from now on, if I have to look things up, it just doesn't work for you. All right, hold person. They have to succeed on a wisdom save against your spell save DC.
Yes, which is 14.
He's a monk. And he rolled a 20. Dang it. You're like, hold, and he's like, nope, out the door. All right, initiative. Everybody, go.
I was running towards
Yeah, you just have to hop over the gates to get
7.
to the vomiting drunk guy.
Okay.
So it's right behind you. Like literally, he's like 5 feet behind you.
Awesome.
Nat 1.
14.
7.
15.
23.
Failing. Except for Magnus.
All right.
I swear. Like,
You get to go
I
first.
rolled
So I'm going to tell you what
pretty
happens.
good.
You're about to literally hop the rail, like just behind you, where there's a man 5 feet behind you, flailing around. You see this monk people walk over the crowd and get out the door. Do you still hop the railing and help out the undulating drunk man?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
he's
You hop the
dying.
railing, you're at his side. He's, help me. What do you do?
Well, I would ask him if he's okay, but he's obviously not
You
okay.
ask him if he's okay. Roll whatever applicable skill you're going to use to help him. Medicine?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd say perception, but that wouldn't do anything really. Medicine, I got 16, so it's 20.
You feel like whatever he's suffering from, you're not sure what it is, but you don't see, like his skin's not undulating. There's nothing moving underneath his skin.
So it's not the demon?
It doesn't look like that. He's holding his chest still and he's like gasping for air and like spontaneously, like almost like a seizure, but it also doesn't look quite like a seizure.
How the heck would I help a seizure? Or
We'll get to you
not?
in a moment. All right, who else had a 20 or higher? 19, 18, 17, 16?
15.
Okay, on 15, go ahead.
All right.
The monk had a 16, so.
Can I chase after her and just?
She hasn't even gotten up out of her seat yet.
Yeah, I just put my hand
Oh,
out
yeah,
to
she
try and
did
stop
that.
it.
But you saw the monk go out. You saw the monk, like, people run across the crowd.
So, how long has it been since I've seen him, like,
6
actually?
seconds. He's out the door
I
already.
guess I can just see if I can catch up to him.
Okay, what's your move?
Dash as fast as I can.
Okay, so you dash. You double your
And
move.
then
You get
can
out
I
the door.
See, like, do a perception check and
Well,
see if
let
I
me
see him?
explain this to you. There's a room full of people.
So I have to get around.
So you can burn all of your movement to get out the door.
Yeah.
But it's basically like difficult terrain and you're mowing people down. You're like, get out of the way! Everybody move! And like, people are like, oh, it's a giant! And you're like, oh, and just shoving people out of the way. But you can make it to the door. You make it to the door and you're like, scanning the street, scanning everywhere, nothing.
Rats. He got away.
No, I mean, you didn't run down the block, but you made it, so you're outside. Okay.
Who's next?
14?
Yeah, I have a 14.
Okay, go.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna go out the door as well.
Okay, you follow him out, which is a lot easier because he basically paves the way. You run out and everybody stays out of your way because you're a Goliath too. You get to the door and you look both ways down the street and across the street and into a nearby alley. You don't see anything.
Are there like footprints or any kind of marks?
There are people out in the street that seemed alarmed and they're like, what's going on? And they're looking
Did you
at
see
you guys.
someone leave? Which way did they go?
Who? See what? What? Where?
There was a man just running down the street. Did you see anyone just running, like booking
Nope,
down the
I
street?
didn't see any. All right, one person's like, yes, there was a human man with a white shirt,
Yes.
a white chemise, and brown
I
pantaloons.
don't care what kind of shirt he was wearing. Where did he go?
It had very poofy sleeves.
Which way?
The pantaloons.
He ran out into the crowd and then disappeared.
Okay.
He pushed, it was like he just vaulted through the door and crashed into a mob of people and then everybody got up and he was gone.
Can I go over to where the last time they saw him was?
Yeah, you see like a vendor with like apples, like picking up his apples and putting them back in the basket. He's like, son of a gun. He's like mad. And there's like a couple other people like helping him put his little like push cart back together.
Okay, are there any like footprints or anything that would show?
Go ahead and make a perception.
Perception. 17.
There's no footprints anywhere in the area. You do notice, however, that alley that's kind
Yes.
of not directly across, but like a building over, is kind of dark because the two buildings that flank the alley are both 3 stories tall. It's kind of shadowy over there. So maybe next round you can run over and check it out. All right,
That's where I'm looking.
13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8,
He has a
7.
natural 1, so I have a 7.
Okay, you're up.
All right, I'll dash out the same path the Goliaths paved.
Yes. You see him at the doorway looking both ways. You see her down by an apple cart, like looking around on the ground. And you see her like looking at the alley.
All right, is that my whole action?
What else do you want to do?
No, I think that's all.
Okay. You're up.
Yeah. I'll stay with Magnus.
Okay. You hop the banister and go over the rail, and you see also this flopping around person.
Mhm.
Make a insight check.
Thanks. 17.
You feel like maybe this seizure / heart attack is not real.
What?
Oh.
Like it's not. You're like, this guy's faking it.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
So I'm gonna whisper to like Magnus and be like, hey, I don't buy this.
You buy it. He's literally convulsing.
Could be an act. I don't know. Just my senses, you know.
Your senses?
Yeah.
Okay.
Top of the order. You're up.
Okay.
He's still flopping around and like,
Okay, so
fetch a healer. The pain.
I ain't no healer. I'm pretty useless, actually. But,
But I'm
He goes,
gonna try.
healer,
Do you know of a healer nearby?
the girl. He points in the bar. He says, healer, and he points in the bar. The girl.
Can I?
Your turn's done. Next.
Oh, wait, can I?
Better make it fast.
Can I do, like, detect magic to see if...
Yes, or you can roll insight.
I'll roll insight because that doesn't take up a spell slot.
Mhm.
No, that's garbage. Insight, you said?
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, he seems to be telling the truth. There must be some girl who's a healer in the bar.
Okay.
Okay, next.
That's
Me.
You.
Yeah. So,
Make a perception check.
oh, okay. Alright.
Oh.
Okay. 19?
After scanning all 4 streets, because this building's on a corner, you're at the corner of the porch, you're looking on all these streets. You're certain that he's not on one of the main drags, but that there's something about that alley across the one street and down a building, because it's kind of shadowy, that just seems to maybe he got there somehow without people seeing him.
Okay. So, how far away is Jordan?
She's like 5 feet from
Yeah,
you.
so I'm just gonna walk over to her and point that spooky alleyway. Like,
Okay.
that's spooky. We should look at that.
Are you gonna go, or are you gonna?
We.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna go down the alley. If
All
there's
right.
nothing.
Do you
there-
walk over to the alley or run? Because he didn't
Run?
really use his movement, so you guys could
Yeah,
both run
okay.
over there.
Yeah, we'll just run over there.
Okay, you run over to the mouth of the alley. The mouth of the alley is lit for like 5 feet in, and then it's very dim because of the fact that it's like evening, and also, like I said, because the height of the buildings makes it kind of dim. There are stacks of pure trash, but also like broken crates, a couple split barrels, things that are just kind of like interspersed down the alley, and it seems to go about a block down. There are also like windows, like back windows and back doors to some of the businesses that feed onto that alley, as well as like short stairs that go up to the back doors on a few of them. You're up.
All right, I want to dash the same way they went up to the alley.
Yeah.
And can I see further? Is that
Yes. Your vision is very clear. You can make a perception check.
10.
You don't see any people, especially matching that guy's description. There's like a couple stray cats like sniffing around in the garbage and stuff. And again, you see like barrels, some crates, some broken crates, just, kind of refuse that people throw in the alley.
All right. I don't have anything else.
You're
Oh,
up. No,
Sorry, I didn't.
go
I
ahead.
want to cast I have a light cantrip. I wanted to cast it.
As
the-
far down as you can.
Yeah, so they can see.
Okay. All right, you're up.
Well, Magnus, I think we should just leave. I mean, we're no use, so.
We gotta get the healer, man.
But like, our friends need us right now.
Yeah, but this guy's gonna die. So either we gotta figure something out real fast, or AKA get that healer, because I like helping, but I kind of suck. So,
Yeah.
so I think we should get the healer.
Okay, well, do you know where?
You just said that it's a healer, it's female, and is in the bar, and that's about all I know.
The people in the bar are all like very shook by everything that happened. Like people are like, who was that? What's going on? Why do those big giants run after them? And they're like, murmur, murmur. And just people are like talking and cross talking and like. So what do you do?
I think I want to. I don't know. Probably.
Oh my god, Andria.
Ah.
It was like 5 seconds. It's like a split decision.
Oh, okay. I wanna talk to him both ways, telepathically, if I could,
Mm-hmm.
and like.
What do you say to him telepathically?
Hey, it's all right. I can help you. Tell me what you're feeling and stuff.
He's continued to like hold his chest and like writhe in pain, and he responds mentally. The girl, the healer inside, blonde hair, white shirt, green leggings, help.
Magnus.
Yep.
Find someone that has blonde hair, a green shirt, and some type of.
No.
Oh no. Blonde hair, something green. Either pants or a shirt.
Blonde, something green.
Sorry, very fast.
Just told.
And he's short-term memory loss. Go. Just go.
Okay, you do?
Yeah.
Right, you go in the bar and begin searching around first for like females who are blonde, and you
Okay.
see a few, and then you're like looking for white shirts, green things. Suddenly, the entire area that you're in becomes pitch black.
What?
You're in pitch black.
Not again.
No.
Cast darkness.
All right. Okay.
You notice this, by the way.
Mess.
You turn
Oh.
around and you're like, what? It is pitch black, like somebody put up a piece of black, like, velvet. Like, you can't see, even where you guys were sitting, like, it's crept into that area. Like, it's just a blackness through which you cannot see.
Around him and the
About where,
convulsing
yeah,
guy?
where you just were.
Okay.
And it even creeps into the bar, and like you can't see through that window or anything. And other people seem to see this too. They're like, what is going on? This darkness is murder, murder. And like people are freaking out now.
Do I find the woman?
You're looking. So you guys are at the entrance to this alley. Make a perception check, all of you.
16.
18.
Not so much what you see, but what you hear is like yells and shouts from back behind you at the bar, and you kind of look back, and you notice that like where you guys had been sitting on the opposite corner of the bar, there's like a darkness throughout the entire area, and you even can't see into it. It's not like a shadow from a building. It's like magical darkness.
Is it like what he did before? On
You
the back
feel
of
like
the-
that's possible.
Should we continue the alleyway or just go back and help them?
Not all of us should go. I think we should. I'll go back.
All right, I'm running down the
You
alleyway.
guys go forward, because I can't even see
What
anyways.
invocations do you have?
Detect magic, read all writing, and then communicate with anyone telepathically, proceed through your humanoid sentences, and a disadvantage. Good luck. Check.
Okay. All right. So what do you guys do? You three. You're at the alley. What do you do?
I'm running through the alley.
You run through the alley,
I'll go start heading backwards.
and you?
Still running with Jenny.
Okay, so you two run down the alley. Make perception checks.
6.
Ooh.
Hold on. 23.
You're running down the alley, and out of the corner of your eye, because you're tall, you see something up on the roof 3 stories above you move.
Ooh.
3 stories above you.
It's a dude, maybe.
You run back and you get to the corner of the building, and you see the area where you guys had been sitting, as well as the outside porch area where the man was convulsing is in complete darkness.
Okay. Can I look around and see if anybody?
I was hoping you'd be like, can I cast fireball into it? Yes, you can.
Oh wait, never mind. I don't have it prepared. I could cast the spell magic, but I don't have it ready. I'll just look around and see if anybody looks like they were the one who might have cast it.
No, but you see a lot of people freaking out.
Okay.
And you do see
Do I
Magnus
see
like
Magnus?
looking through the crowd of
Okay.
people as if she's searching for someone.
Okay, I'll run up to Magnus and be like, what's going on exactly?
We gotta find a healer and that's female, blonde, and wearing
No, I'm
something
talking
green.
about the darkness.
I don't know. We just gotta find this healer.
Where's Amity? In
In the
Is the one that
darkness.
put it up?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what's going. I just know I was in that
walking
area.
Straight into the darkness.
Okay,
no.
make a death save.
Yes.
This is gonna be awesome.
Yes.
Please fail, please fail, please fail,
A
please
dex
fail.
save.
No.
You can do it.
No.
I have faith in you.
18.
Alright, you bump into the rail and don't flip over it. Damn it. It would have been so awesome.
That would have been great.
You feel the railing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, alright, you climb over it and you're feeling
And then I'm
around.
just yelling out, Amity, where the hell are you?
You hear Areia yelling your name, like right next to you. Like, you just
My
can't
hands
tell
are
quite
out.
where she is.
Just-
And then a moment later, you like feel, so you find each other in the darkness.
What the hell, man? Did you do this?
No, I think it's the person that's sick. I think he's lying.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Alright, let's stick out your hands. We're gonna go look for him.
Okay,
And we're just looking for this.
You move around on the porch,
Sure.
make another dex check.
Yes.
Dex save, fall, dex save.
16.
Oh no. It's okay.
10.
Okay, fine. You step off the porch on accident, you're like, ah, and you kind of like hurt your ankle, but you don't take any damage.
Alright.
I'm just looking for the guy.
You don't find any blonde girl with a white blouse and
What?
green trousers in the entire bar.
I hate
You.
my life.
And you,
Nice, get a really job.
So we point up, and I look straight
Good
up,
job.
and I see like a thing.
you don't see anything.
What?
How would one get up there?
Just throw me.
Oh, I want to
3
see that.
stories?
I want to see
I
that.
don't know. Actually, you know what? That sounds like a really good idea. Please
Yeah.
do that.
This will go great.
That's too much.
How are there any like fire escapes? Is it just
Yes.
flat building all the way up?
No, I mean there's wind. Like I said, there's like a few of the back doors are at ground level, at alley level. Some of them are like split level, you know, where there's like back porch stairs that go up to the door, and then there's some windows here and there. Not a lot because it's basically facing the alley, but
I'm gonna attempt to climb up some windowsill.
oh, good.
It'll go great.
Just free climbing.
You should
Hell
go
yeah.
up as far as you
So,
can and then have her
Can
catch
I
up.
like help her
You want
as
booster up?
much as I can initially?
Yeah, sure. She could probably get to the second floor that way. Go ahead. Make an athletics check. See if you can climb.
We're just making all of the reckless decisions.
Yeah.
Split party, parkour.
19.
19 is good.
Ooh.
You make it up. You're at the second. You're at the second floor now.
Legendary.
If you
One of
keep
us is
working at it,
low,
you can
too.
get up to the third floor,
Confident.
and then after that, the roof of the third floor. Go ahead.
Go, go, go.
Even worse than 201.
14.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You fall down and take 5 hit points of falling damage.
Damn it.
Oh, my back.
What
You
now?
almost had it. We can do it again.
From the top.
Keep at it.
Do you think you could throw me on the roof?
You know he has a better athletics than you, right?
You know, he could probably
Then you
climb up.
climb.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure your athletics is higher than hers, and you're also not wearing any armor.
That's true.
You're just watching her go the whole time.
Well, because I assumed that I'm a big man.
What do you do, meanwhile, Magnus? Because your friend Areia like ran into the darkness, and you has not emerged, by the way.
So, yeah, that's a bummer. I do detect magic, but that would make much sense because I'm pretty sure that's magic.
I can be real.
Pretty sure. And so the drunk dying guy is also in the darkness.
Yes.
I go into the darkness.
Make an initial deck save to not trip and fall face first over the railing.
Dude, there's nothing like. You're not gonna fail. It's gonna be. Oh no! You said a deck save. 12.
All right, that's fine.
Yay!
You bump into the railing and almost fall over it, but you grab yourself because you're roguish. And you crawl over
Sick.
carefully. And then you kind of feel around in the darkness, like where the drunk was. And you find the post, the porch post, but
Yeah.
there's no drunk there. And
I'm so.
and
this
then you
was
hear like you hear like Areia and Amity like talking, and they seem to be like really close to you, like 5 feet away, and they're like, I can't, where's the edge? And I was like,
How big is this darkness bubble?
it's pretty big. It's like
Like-
20 feet
Oh.
around.
I was thinking smaller than that. Okay. So there's no drunk guy. He was rude. He duped us.
You hear
And
Magnus
so-
talking.
Magnus?
Hey!
We're looking for God. Is he there? Can you
Yeah.
feel him?
You guys have to close your eyes for the rest of this session until the darkness lifts.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, actually.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Carry on with your
Magnus.
talking.
Okay. Hi. It's dark.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
looking for the guy. Is he in, like, can you feel him?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, he's gone. So, Amity, I think you might be right. I'm sorry, I didn't believe you.
knew it.
Okay, so Amity told me earlier, like, oh, he's faking it. I was like, he wouldn't fake it, and I think he is because he's gone and it's dark.
Suddenly, the darkness seems to lift,
Oh,
as if the
fancy.
spell's duration has ended.
Okay.
And you guys find yourself holding hands
Yeah.
right outside of the corner inn, next to the porch, and there is in fact no drunk man there.
That's so
Is he
rude.
Anywhere, like, can I just look?
Yeah, you look all around. You look down the street, you walk into the intersection, you look down each street. You don't see any drunk man. Smash cut, back to you guys. You're in the alley.
All right, can you climb up?
I can try.
Go ahead, make an athletics check.
Okay.
Roll number 1.
Oh man, I don't like that one. So that's that's 9.
You're like, heh. Fortunately, you didn't get that high up. He looks back with a sense of
Well,
Shame.
self-loathing and shame.
Damn. How are we gonna get up here?
While you're figuring that out, you guys have emerged from this darkness has rather emerged, and you guys find yourself at the corner, and all the people in the inn are like pouring out of the inn, and like not in a panic like there's a dragon, but just like they paid their tabs and left.
okay. Well, we should probably get back to Capella and Bullstrong because they were chasing somebody down. So I think we should go
Yeah.
All
follow
right.
them.
I
they
want to
went-
find this drunk guy. That's so rude.
He might. I don't know.
Magnus, do you want to investigate like the surroundings, see if there's anything left behind?
Can I do a perception check?
Yes, you can investigate since that's your skill.
Investigate.
You're thoroughly searching for
Go,
clues.
Magnus, go.
Investigate.
So that's 26.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You do see some tracks, some footprints that seem to lead off to the east.
I'm going.
I'm following.
Me
And they
too.
seem to be similar in size to the drunk man.
Getting him. We're taking him down.
Let's go.
You
Yeah.
duped us.
Okay. So you guys are gonna follow those footprints?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you tell the Bullstrong and Capella?
Oh, as we're running, I'll just.
Well, how far away are they? They're like.
They're in the alley. They were running. I don't know how far they've gotten, but I think we should keep going this way, and I'll send a message
Could be.
to
Oh, you
Capella.
can do
Yeah,
things.
so I'll rub
cool.
I'll rub the tattoo on my arm, and I'll send a message, and I'll say, "It's me, following drunk guy. He left. We're just gonna follow this lead."
It's like a text message.
Following?
Well, it's like 25 words.
It
It's
is.
like a text message.
That's sick.
So I just let her know that we're following the drunk guy who disappeared.
Okay. That's exactly what you got from your message. You felt a little burning, and then as it activated in your mind, you got this message.
You can answer, by the way. It's
So the answer is, we're climbing right now. Get back to you soon.
climbing now, talk later.
TTYL.
And that's where we're gonna end this episode of Community High School Students Season 4
TTYL.
with the Medusas. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along, subscribing, liking, sharing, and all of the love. Crawford. Dave? Ready? Rolling?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome.
Okay, you did it again.
Motherfucker. Hello. God damn it, Crawford. Hello and welcome.
Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna stab you with a pencil. The lesson that we learned today, kids, was always take more notes, because nothing ever happens on accident.